Molly shows off her awesome cartwheel skills. Worf teaches Kiriyoshi warrior's hand-eye coordination. And Keiko O'Brien is mean to Chester the cat. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the seventh rule with Cirroc Lofton, who's never been mean to a cat ever.
Oh, Chester is that cat's name. I thought it was the Cheshire cat.
Oh, that's good. My name is Ryan T. Husk. Today we're doing a review of, you guessed it, Deep Space Nine, Season 6, Episode 24, Time's Orphan, not to be mistaken with Time's Arrow. Story by Joe Menosky, we've heard his name many times, and teleplay by, these guys just keep popping up, David Weddle and Bradley Thompson, directed by Alan Craker, and this was May 20th, 1998. Where were you? What's up, Cirroc?
What's happening? How you doing?
Good, thanks. So Chester the cat, was the cat, if you'll recall, that O'Brien brought back from Bigsby when he went to that gangster planet, or that planet that with the Orion Syndicate. We had Brian Volk-Weiss was our guest on that one, and Bigby, the guy that kind of, had O'Brien's back that he betrayed and was going to die, he said, "Take care of my cat, Chester." So this is the first time we're seeing that cat since then. And I did not realize how freaking cute that cat is. No wonder people were kind of putting him up against Spot and Grudge as the cutest cat. I'm like, yeah, you got a point. I have a friend, Nicole. She's also a big Star Trek fan. Nicole, she's a stand-in actress, does a lot of good acting. She has a cat named Wally that looks very similar to that cat. Cirroc's like, this is the most cat talk we've ever had. When is it going to end? But it reminded me of Wally, and they're very cute. They're very cute. I love their face.
I wrote a little cat note. I didn't write that much cat, but I guess there's a lot of people out there that are cat lovers and animal lovers. I didn't even see the cat until that panning across the room and the tail was wagging thing. Is that the shot we're talking about? Yeah, well,
he was in at least a couple shots, but that one was really cute because the cat was sitting still. We were panning. You don't even notice the cat until you just see the tail going doot, 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 doot. I'm like, how did they get that perfect shot with that cat to not move except for his tiny little tail? Brilliant.
That's when I thought it was a robot. I thought it was like a mechanically driven cat, because I was like, that's too perfect. And like you said, it blended in with the scene, I think, with the comforter on the bed and all that stuff. It kind of blended in, camouflage with the shot until it moved.
Yeah.
But I didn't get a close-up on the face, so I didn't really see the face of the cat. I think that was like a body shot, right? The back of the body.
Yeah, and so I'd like to officially apologize to everybody during Virtual TrekCon 3 and the 2022 Lappy Awards. When I was saying Spot is cuter than Grudge, some people were saying Chester is even cuter than Spot. And I was like, get the out of here. But they got a pretty good point. Chester's pretty cute. So we saw his face a couple other times. I think they were carrying him or something. But the moment where Keiko was mean to Chester, if you'll recall, was when they were just about to go to the picnic. And they were just about to leave. And O'Brien says, I think Molly says, "Can we bring Chester?" And Keiko says no, and Chief O'Brien says, "Yeah, if we brought Chester, he might get lost down there." And then Keiko was like, "Well, on second thought." I was like, how dare you? So clearly she's got a problem with the cat because he brought the cat home. She didn't know. She comes back from Bajor. There's a cat there that she never knew existed. Suddenly there's a cat there. And then when she says on second thought, she grabs like the little blanket that they're sitting on in this picture of the picnic. The cat was on the folded blanket and she just yanks it out from under the cat. And it's an actual real cat. And that real cat's probably like, what did I do? I'm just sitting here.
What the heck's going on?
Dude, everybody at home, some of them know the scene I'm talking about. Some of you aren't sure. So go check it out. She yanks that folded blanket out from under Chester in like the meanest way. Obviously, it was in the script. I'm sure Rosalind didn't do that herself. But I was like, if they had to do that more than one take, then that's just that poor cat is just being beaten up on and abused, because if they had to do that like 6 times, that cat.
It's animal abuse, damn near. What's going
Poor
on here?
kitty.
But he, in the animal's defense, that cat was acting.
Seasoned pro.
He's a seasoned pro, and he was a stunt acting cat.
Watch that scene again when she yanks out from under him. Like the cat, like fully stumbles. It wasn't like a little thing. Like she throws the cat off the blanket, and he's just kind of like, "Whoa, whoa!" What
if they had a backup cat? The cat's like, "I'm not doing that," so they brought in the stunt cat for that scene.
Yeah, the cat's like, "I'm way too cute to do my own stunts, pal."
Only do tail wagging when the camera pans across. I don't do all this flipping around stuff.
What if that was the cat's butt double? What if he's like, nope, I don't do that either. I do the face shots. You see my adorable face when I'm getting tossed off a blanket, or when you're zooming in on my butt, whatever you weird humans do that think is cute. That's Jeremiah, the stunt cat.
I bring in the cat that's cool with nudity.
And stunts. Anyway.
And stunts. Oh man, that's a lot of. I didn't expect to talk this much about the cat in this particular episode.
Me neither, but it feels so right.
It really went overlooked. Now I'm going to have to do a rewatch.
Yeah.
So Joe Minosky, we heard his name before. You said Minosky.
Yeah, Joe Minosky. Like we've definitely mentioned his name a bunch of times. Let me look him up very quickly, but we've certainly brought him up a few times. He did the story by. Okay, so he is a co-producer on Star Trek The Next Generation for 26 episodes, and he's got 33 writing credits on Star Trek The Next Generation. Wow. And on Deep Space Nine, he has 4 writing credits. And those episodes were, this is the last one. So this is why we've mentioned his name 3 other times. Dramatis Personae, I think that was the 2nd season. Rivals in like the 3rd season. Distant Voices in, I think, possibly the 4th season. And then Times Orphan. He's also got he's got 36 writing credits on Star Trek Voyager. And he actually has a writing credit on 1 episode of Discovery, 1 episode of The Orville, and a few episodes of For All Mankind. That's Ronald D. Moore's new series. And he is a co-executive producer on The Orville, co-executive producer on For All Mankind with Ronald D. Moore, of course. He's a co-executive producer on Star Trek Discovery. Well, this guy gets around. What a pro!
Yo, can we interview this? We have to bring this guy in. This is a fun interview.
I did not realize that. I mean, I knew he was a part of all of those things except Discovery. I didn't know about Discovery, but I didn't realize just how much. With all these tons of writing credits, tons of co-executive producer credits. Wow. It's just that. So he basically went from Next Generation to Voyager, because he had like 20 something credits for Next Generation, 30 something for Voyager, and only 4 in Deep Space Nine, kind of in the middle. But this is a guy that would be great to talk to.
Absolutely. Especially just the impact that he's had on sci-fi in general, all the other projects that he's been a part of as well. So definitely love to pick his brain and then ask him some questions about, his journey. But that's and here I just looked it up. I found out how the cat died.
No.
It says curiosity killed the cat.
Okay, Cirroc, that is an A+. Wow. Wow. Here I was with tears in my eyes. Wow. Man,
I've been working on that for literally, it's been 2.5, 3 weeks now. So
worth it.
It went off well. Thank you.
Worth it. Worth all of those sessions with the white whiteboard and the markers. You're like, Kira, Yoshi, no, Yoshi. How do I work this out? There's like diagrams.
Yeah. Sorry about that, folks.
I don't think you have anything to apologize for.
So yeah, this episode started off, and it kind of got me. It tugs at your emotions seeing Molly kind of doing the Die Hard, one hand at the edge, grabbing on.
Yeah.
Because you usually see that with an adult, right? That's usually at the end of the movie, the guy's at the end of the cliff, or he's holding on to the wing of the airplane. It's just one hand, and he's like, grab my hand, reach for my hand. You never see that though with an 8-year-old. I don't even know if an 8-year-old can hold their own body weight up.
One minute she's doing a cartwheel, the next minute she's doing a fall. And I did think of you. I was like, and I do oftentimes when I'm watching these things, and I remember thinking, I wonder if Cirroc thinks, oh shoot, is this the end of Molly? Because, whatever, who knows? And especially when the older one walks through the portal, I was wondering, did it cross your mind, Cirroc, that this is the end of Molly's story?
Yeah. I thought because we're getting towards the end of the show, right? We're at the late episodes of the season 6. I don't know if Molly's coming back again, right? So I thought, oh well, maybe this is just their way of kind of writing Molly off. And so yeah, there was a part of me that thought this is, and then there was a part of me that said, but I never seen this new Molly girl around. So who is this? So I never ran into her at the craft service table, so I knew she wasn't going to stick around too. So at the very least, I thought Molly in general was going to be like written off of the show, essentially. And I was a little bit upset about it. I was a little bit upset because they barely give any storyline to his family. They even mentioned it. She says, "Are you going to send us away again?" Because obviously he sent his family away for the Dominion invasion. But I was a little bit upset that I was like, "Wow, this guy barely sees his family," and they give him one family episode, and it's like, and now he's got half the size of a family. So what's going on here?
I know. Actually, I did put in my notes, I was like, finally, Keiko is back, because she was so involved in the first 4 seasons. And then they just kept, and then all she got was a million names. Every episode was like, oh, Keiko's on Bajor. Oh, Keiko and the kids are over here. Oh, I've got a wife and kids. They're somewhere else. But they were just backstory at that point. I do want to point out very quickly, check this out. This is where Keiko is mean to the kitty. Okay.
Yes, I need to see this. This is important.
Wait a minute. Now it's not working. Oh, man, I don't think it's going to let me show it. What a bummer.
Okay.
What a bummer. Let's try that again. Yeah, no, wow, that's weird. It doesn't show it at all. Okay, fine. Well, just imagine that I did show it. Basically, the cat goes onto the blanket and she yanks off. Everybody, you can go check it out. It's about 1:20, 1 minute and 20 seconds into the episode. And he is so freaking cute. Anyway.
Oh, yeah. So look, I was looking up Rosalind's career, and she was doing a lot of films at around that time.
I see.
Yeah. And so scheduling. Yeah, she was in the Joy Luck Club in 1993. That would be when we started. But, there were other films that she was in. What Dreams May Come was in 98. So I would just expect that she was always kind of working a lot. And that was why they couldn't get her in too much.
That's a good point. That's probably what it was, she couldn't put her career on hold for the prospect of being in 15 scenes over 4 episodes a year. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're like, I think she had 1 or 2 Keiko centric episodes, but you can't put your life on hold, you know, that you'll have for the possibility of 1 episode every 2 years is, you know, about you.
Yeah, but they do a good job with the NAMs on her to keep her like in the storyline, right?
Exactly.
He's always saying, my wife this, my wife that. And so clearly he, you know, he even acts like a married man. So there's no part of him that's like, hey, my wife's away. And then you see a different kind of O'Brien. He's pretty steady and level and committed to his family life. So I think that they did a good job of keeping her around and keeping her mentioned, so that even though she wasn't in a lot of episodes, it felt like she was always just around the corner or just about to come.
Yeah, well, that's exactly it. Is they did a good job of like keeping her story going, even if she wasn't appearing. They kept the non-appearance mentions going. We always knew where she was. We always knew why she was not there. They were off on the planet because of the Dominion, and it all makes sense. It all worked out, and they did it all, you know, correctly, it seems.
And they did a really good there was a moment there in the beginning where she's in bed with O'Brien, and he says something about the kid growing up, and then she kind of rubs his stomach and says, looks like you've been doing some growing too, right? And then
rude.
I thought it was like a good husband and wife kind of dialogue. To me, that felt like a couple having that kind of, you know, because, you know, that's, you know, your wife comes in town
you
says,
try
hey.
saying that to your wife and we'll see if it's a cute.
No, you can't. It's not a two-way street. It's a one-way. But the street is, what have you been eating? You're not eating healthy. You know, it's like,
good point.
You know, just that's a kind of a normal conversation. If like you come home and you open the fridge, you see McDonald's bags and Coca-Cola cans, you're like, what the hell have you been eating? Mm-hmm. There's concern in a relationship about that. And then it's like, I'm going to take care of you. We're going to eat some home cooked food. I know what you like. And it goes back to the kind of normalcy that you expect. So to me, that was a good capture of the kind of dialogue that happens in a relationship in bed, kind of pillow talk type stuff.
Makes sense. Yeah. I mean, she did it playfully and it was kind of rude, but at the same time, you're sure that it comes from, you know, concern, where she's like, this guy's I've been gone for 6 months. He's been eating fast food every day for 6 months, guaranteed. She looks in the pantry. She's like, every can of beans and bag of rice that was here 6 months ago is still here unopened. You've been going to Taco Bell every day.
Exactly. And so that's what I'm talking about. You know, it's that kind of a conversation. And I thought it was realistic in a lot of ways. Also thought it was realistic with who was that baby? That was really my question. Was that Kira's baby?
That is our first look, you know, at least in a year, of Kira Yoshi, who was Miles O'Brien and Keiko's baby, but Keiko had that injury, and so they had to put it inside Kira, as you remember. Right. And I think they were maybe going to call him Yoshi, but then they called him Kira Yoshi because of Kira carrying her.
No, but I mean, the baby himself, was that Nana's real baby? That was my question. Because I think she did have a baby at this time. I don't know. It felt like that baby looked like somebody's baby, like an actual.
I doubt it, but let's check. Baby. His name is Clara Bravo.
No.
Don't know.
No.
And this is actually, wow, what a pro. This is actually his 4th episode on Deep Space Nine. So what that means is when they had tiny little infant scenes with Kira Yoshi, it was still the same actor. Like they kept the same actor throughout. I say actor, but when he's 3 weeks old, is he, you know, they're not really giving him direction, I don't think.
Yeah, it's funny because they really need to do a deep dive and do a USSS Kiriyoshi in one of the Discovery episodes or something.
That would be
Throw
badass.
that in there.
That would be badass.
Because we don't know what this little baby grows up to be.
That's right. We don't. We've often, the fans have often thought, how cool would it be to have like a Deep Space Nine, The Next Generation, where there's Jake, there's Nog, there's Molly, there's Kiriyoshi. There was another one. Oh yeah. Then if you go into, then you can also have what's her name? Naomi Wildman from Star Trek Voyager, and a couple others. Then, you've got this whole other generation where we don't really know what ended up happening to them, but everybody wants to know.
Yeah, you can also have Worf's
Alexander.
Son. Yeah. The future of that too. Where did that go?
Who, by the way, as far as I know, got the only NAM of the day, Alexander.
Yeah, I did see the NAM for that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, there were elements of this episode that kind of reminded me a little bit of The Visitor. It kind of touched some emotional buttons.
Oh, that's interesting. I hadn't thought of that. We're going to jump to our break right now, but yeah, let's talk about. I hadn't thought of that. We'll be right back on the other side with the seventh rule. Hey, everybody, welcome back to the seventh rule with Cirroc, Lofton, the one and only.
Hello, hello.
My name is Ryan T. Husk, the one, the many, and we are doing a review of Deep Space Nine Season 6, Episode 24 times Orphan. Very quickly, here are the trivioids. I strongly considered just bagging on Keiko O'Brien for the top three trivioids, because I had three trivioids that were kind of painting Keiko in a negative light. And I was like, that'd be funny if I put them all at the top. But then I was like, nah, this is a welcome back part. This is a welcome back party for Keiko, not a roasting.
But this is an animal abuse issue. So it trumps Keiko's personal feelings.
Here they come, fast and furious. Keiko doesn't bring sausages on their picnic. If you'll recall, just right when they're leaving, the last thing O'Brien, he looks and he goes, "No sausages?"
Yeah.
Funny. Just made me laugh. Keiko doesn't bring sausages on their picnic. Keiko makes fun of Chief O'Brien for gaining weight, and Keiko is mean to a cat. But also, Molly wants to be an exobologist, is how she pronounced it. Molly does some pretty badass cartwheels. Molly is a time traveler. Molly bites her dad. Dax has raised 9 kids. Molly is eating with a spoon. I barely remember that. Worf is teaching Kiriyoshi a warrior's hand-eye coordination. Molly hates her purple dress. Remember, because she ripped it up angrily. She really hates that one. And lastly, Worf pretends to be a Grint hound.
Yeah, a lot of stuff in there.
So the Visitor.
And, there were, that was what it was kind of like The Visitor. I mean, not exactly like, obviously it's not like The Visitor, but there were emotional buttons and moments where I was kind of feeling the parent-child moments of loss and suffering, right? There's a connection there that a parent and child instantly invokes in you when you see something happening, right? So when in the beginning, when Molly's hanging with one hand and he's trying to grab her hand, instantly, as a parent, you're like,
yeah,
you trigger something. So you're like, oh my God, right?
Right. And there was another very strong parallel between the two. The difference is that we saw it from the parents' point of view, but from their point of view, 1 second Molly's 8, the next second she's 18. That is exactly what Captain Sisko experienced when he saw Jake 1 second at one age. The next second, Jake is 10, 20 years older. But we just saw it from a different point of view. No, I mean, that's a very strong parallel. You're right. I never thought of that.
And this also made me question certain actions and what actions I would take.
Yeah.
And so I didn't agree with all the actions that were taken. And I thought to myself, what would I do differently in the moment? I guess in the moment, my first instinct, number one, would be to jump in after Molly, right?
Wow.
So I would end up in that, whatever that place is on the other side. I don't think I could just say, all right, well, I mean, that's like, you don't know if that's like a form of a water, like water, right? That there could be drowning in or something. Like, you don't know that that's a time hole, whatever.
Yeah. But at the same time, you don't know if that thing is just instant death. So if you jump in,
which I would be willing to take. I would be willing to take that risk.
I would be willing to do that for Chester the cat, but I don't know.
Now, as a parent, that's what I would do. Absolutely. I would just jump in. Yeah. Especially if there was an unknown, right? Mm-hmm. Now, if it's boiling hot lava and I know that's lava and I'm jumping in, it's just going to melt me away.
Right.
Then I would say, well, that doesn't really benefit anybody. But if there's an unknown and I don't know what it is, I'm going to take the risk and say, okay, well, let's screw it. Let's see what I'll do it because I know she's right there. Right. Kind
of like a lot of times if a kid goes overboard on a boat, a parent jumps in after them because they're like, okay, you know, we're going to face this together. We're going to figure it out. Right. You know, but I'm not going to just leave my kid.
I'm just going to look over at the edge of the boat and say,
you're like, oh man, Keiko's going to be pissed. Oh, well.
When we get back home, maybe I can build a time machine like that. That's not what I'm going to be thinking in the moment, right? Maybe I'm going to be thinking of life-saving skills.
Maybe he's just thinking, he's like, well, when we go home, I guess we're just going to have to make Molly number 2. I don't know. Sorry, Keiko.
Yeah, no, nobody's thinking that. You're thinking instantly in the moment of saving somebody's life, especially your own child. So, and you will risk your life for it. So that kind of made me look, I was like a little bit like, I don't know if that's exactly what I would do. Unless I was certain this is a gateway time portal that I could reactivate, and I knew all of that going forward, right? Mm-hmm. That was the first thing that I had a little kind of an issue with. And then the other thing I had an issue was with when he was giving her back into the time thing. Right?
That's exactly what I was thinking, yeah.
Yeah, that had me just thinking, are you like, that's the decision you would come up with? Like, I'll just send my kid to grow up on a planet by herself in solitude
and maybe forever. Just die. Maybe die in 2 weeks.
Yes. Yeah. And here's a pack of Lunchables and a Swiss Army knife.
Yeah. Here's some Raisinets and a compass. Good luck, kid.
Yeah. No, but it's not going to happen. No parent's going to do that. I don't care because of the way time works. The same way the 8 years that she had growing up made her develop and was able to learn a language and to communicate with the Molly that we knew. So that Molly obviously got erased by the passage of another 10 years on this planet isolated, right? So that Molly no longer knows how to speak, communicate, interact with people, has learned a whole new set of skills. And just like that has happened, you can now reverse that again with another 10 years or so of therapy, being with her, working alongside, teaching her, about herself.
And no parent's going to give up on their kid after 2.5 days. They're like, well, it's been 2.5 days. Yeah. She learned some words in English. She learned to, give us back the ball. She liked it when I combed her hair. Yeah, but she did freak out. You know what? Let's get it. Let's move on. Move on. We wasted already 2.5
Where's my Swiss Army knife?
Yeah, we wasted 2.5 days on her already. Can we just forget it?
Give her a flashlight.
We could take care of her. We could put her. The magistrate says we could put her on this colony and take care of her, and she'll improve slowly. Nope, not worth it. Bye, Molly.
No, just give her a flashlight and a bottle of water. Yeah. She'll be fine.
Teddy bear too.
We don't even know what that planet looks like. It's not like they went to the other side, did some reconnaissance, and said, you know what? There's no dangerous animals here. There's it's the weather and temperature is very beautiful.
Yeah, why didn't they go on the other side with her? Maybe build her a home. Maybe just say, hey, let's make this thing stable so we can go visit her every week. and then slowly she'll get, I don't know. Yeah, it was weird. It was weird.
Yeah. The whole, okay, I'll see you later. Time to go back to the jungle. See you later. It's been a week. I don't know what to do. Bashir says he can't figure it out. So that's enough. To me, it was like, wait a minute. That was too casual for me as a parent. Nobody's going to just abandon their kid like that. Have you know how many parents have had a child that's been missing and they didn't find that kid for years, 10, 15, 20 years, and they may have grown up and had a whole nother family, and now they're but to be reunited with them is the most magical moment, to see them again. Nobody says, oh, well, you know, he got married and he moved on, so it's not a big deal.
It's not the same kid I remember, so not worth it. No, I like that other kid better than you, so see ya. Yeah,
come on. That's no parent.
She's not that cute age anymore.
Yeah. Besides, he lost all his hair. He's got a double chin now.
Yeah.
He's not a little baby.
Right now, Joe Manoski, if Joe Manoski's watching this, he's like, well, I was going to come on your show, but now I don't know.
Joe, on the show, episode, it was good. It was good. We're just nitpicking. That's all. But speaking of nitpicking, the Chucky doll that she really loved so much, I was creeped out by this little doll.
Yeah.
It had a stitched forehead like Frankenstein or something. And I was like, what kid will look at this doll and think, here's my rendition.
Oh, wait, let me pin this. Oh, wait, hang on, hold it up again.
I was like, real cute doll.
It looks like a baby Frankenstein Ronald McDonald.
I was thinking to myself, what kind of Scarface doll is this? I mean, I don't know. I wonder. And I actually had to ask, just before Chucky, because it looked like he was wearing the same jumpsuit.
I wonder if it was in some way similar to, and you tell me what you think.
A little bit.
The thing in the middle, I don't know. That's actually Naomi Wildman. That's the kid on Voyager. She's actually a really cool, interesting character. Her mom's name was Ensign Wildman, but I don't remember her first name. And right now there are people that are yelling her first name, but I can't remember it. Let me look it up. But anyway, yeah, that was the only thing I could think of that has kind of like that thing in the middle of the forehead, you know?
Yeah. No, I thought that was the weirdest doll that the kid would want.
Samantha Wildman. Sorry, the name is Samantha Wildman of the Ensign on Voyager.
Okay. One of my favorite moments, though, and this is a nod to David Weddle, Bradley Thompson, and Joe Manoski. The scene with Odo was classic. It was actually my favorite moment of this.
It was so Star Trek, right?
It was just such a good moment. Jones to security. So the security officer Jones, who, by the way, was a stand-in actor the whole time. So I forgot who he stood in for.
Maybe for Odo.
It was Odo's stand-in, as a matter of fact. Yes.
Interesting. Yeah, because picturing him, he had similar hair color and length.
Yes. And he was, so he never got any lines. He was always either a background actor or he did stand in for Renee.
I thought he was actually really good. I put in my notes. I was like, whoa, this guy got one little scene. He was pretty good.
Right. And he's been around for the whole time. That's why I'm bringing some attention to him without actually saying his name. Unfortunately, I can't remember his name. Randy.
Yeah, Randy James. Actually, it says Randy James here. Good knowledge.
Okay.
Wow.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So it was Randy. And yeah, he was there for many years alongside us. He knew all of us. And I was happy for him that he got to actually have some speaking lines.
Wow. He's got, 56 episodes on Deep Space Nine right under our noses. And we had no idea. And you're like, that's my guy. That's Randy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Good knowledge.
Yep. And he's finally got some words. So I was happy that he was in on it. But Odo's scene where he says, I'm disappointed in you, O'Brien. And I was just like, oh God, this is such a great moment right here. And I'm thinking, what is he going to say? Are you looking up Randy?
Yeah, dude. Like here's something also very interesting about him. Apparently, O'Brien, Worf, Keiko, and Molly were not the only ones that transferred from the Enterprise over to Deep Space Nine, because Randy James also has 33 episodes on The Next Generation, also as Jones, just like he is credited as Jones in the 56 episodes of Deep Space Nine. And he goes from 88 to 92 as Jones on the Enterprise. And then starting on 93, he's on Deep Space Nine for the next 5 seasons. So what that means is Jones transferred from the Enterprise over to Deep Space Nine, just like Worf and O'Brien. He's the third officer. Wow, this is he should go to conventions. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I don't know where he is, but he was there the whole time. Really nice guy, always laughing, always had a smile. And like I said, seeing him have these lines here was like, oh, hey, good, he got some lines. I'm glad he got to speak, because he's always been there the whole time, you know. And it's funny because they transfer Miles from engineering. He's transferred from security because he's working as a security op guy.
Mm-hmm.
And Worf is obviously
security as well. Yeah.
Security as well. So yeah, that's the lowdown on that. But look, he said if anyone could break a prisoner out of a holding cell and get them off the station, I would have thought it'd be you.
Mm-hmm.
And he shook his head in disappointment. It was such a great line.
Why did you let me catch you? Yeah, I thought you were better than that.
Yeah.
You know, the moment that I thought was very Star Trek and made me so happy was Worf's adorable arc, where he's trying to first he starts off being super happy and cheerful that there's a baby there. Like suddenly he's like smiling. He's like, oh, he's almost like goo goo gaga. He's like super excited there was a baby there. Then he wants to take care of the baby. Then we find out it's because he's trying to show to Dax that he can take care of a baby, which is also cute. Then there's the moment where he's just like kind of sad and ashamed that the baby hit his head and he doesn't want to say. And she's like, what's wrong? What happened? He's like, well, I don't want to talk about it, you know? And then at the end, when Dax is like, he kept saying, Kiriyoshi kept saying, gung, gung, gung. What does that mean? And Worf's like, really? He said that? He really, you're not fucking with me, right? He really said that. She's like, yeah, gung, gung, gung. What does that mean? He's like, that is between Kiriyoshi and me, or something, right? It's like it's our special thing, and I know every Star Trek fan went nuts for that because that's our adorable little Worfer.
Yeah, I liked it. It just kind of was confusing to me, and I'll say this: the reason it was confusing to me is because he seemed to be a good dad in those moments, and also had a natural kind of instinct around kids that he liked the presence of them. And my idea of him before this was that he was repulsed by kids and didn't like children. So this actually countered what I believe to be his narrative, because my first thing when he started going in on the kid and saying, I'll take care of the kid, was thinking, wow, this guy wants to raise somebody else's kids, but didn't even raise his own. That's what I was really thinking.
Yeah, he also wasn't a very good dad to Alexander. He's definitely, as Cirroc likes to put it, he's one of the bad dads.
Bad dad. So
there was one episode that you're like, this episode should be called Bad Dads.
Yeah. So it was a little bit of a shock to me that he was showing these signs of good dad when clearly he hasn't been one. And then they made it the issue about him feeling guilty about being a bad dad, which I thought then made it more believable for me. But I think he could have been introduced in a little bit different way. I think he could have been really like, what is this baby doing here? More aggressively angered about it as opposed to soft about it. And then seeing that offended Dax would have made him change his tune, as opposed to coming in initially with the softness, and you know what I mean?
That would have given more of an arc, right? Where we see what his motivation is. But when it comes to a B plot, they have very little time to put those together. Right. But yeah, I agree that would show more. That would show more, and we would understand. I mean, basically a B plot can have one or two, one twist at the beginning, one twist at the end, but they don't. I mean, something like that could have almost been its own A plot,
own episode. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That the episode where Worf and Dax are squabbling about kids, and Worf's trying to prove it to her, and there's all these shenanigans that happen, and they have a couple little squabbles. Yeah, they could have done a lot more with that.
Yes. The other thing that I thought of in that conversation was something I never actually thought of before. And that is the idea, and this is probably more of a Mohamed Noor question, but I'm going to say it anyways, the idea of interspecies reproduction. Mm-hmm. Can a Klingon and a Trill reproduce? How does that work? That kind of just triggered in my brain about interspecies kind of reproduction.
Well, I'm going to channel my inner Mohamed Noor and say, well, you see, when a Klingon and a Trill love each other very much. No, you're right. They have tackled issues like that before, where they say, for example, Tom and Baylana, I believe, were the first human and Klingon to. No, that can't be it, because Alexander's mother, Worf's baby mama, is half human, half Klingon. Right. But yeah, they do tackle these kinds of things sometimes, where they say, this race and this race has never done this before. They've never procreated together. And so sometimes it works out. Sometimes they need to do some kind of genetic, engineering or some work. Spock, as we know, is half and half. Deanna Troi is half human, half Beta Z. Betazoid. Beta Z is the planet. But yeah, we've never seen Klingon and Trill, so we have no idea if that works or not.
Yeah, and then it also made me think, did any of the Trill hosts prior have children? Because I don't remember hearing about that either.
Yeah, they're called Trildren. No, that doesn't work. Dax said... Dax said that she had 9 kids, and Worf's like, yes, you have told me many times, 4 boys and 5 girls, something like that. That she's had 9 kids in previous lives. But yeah, they didn't actually go further. They didn't actually. I
go with that one.
They didn't go any further and actually tell us if they're going to try having kids. They just kind of open that door, that discussion about children, but children, but they never stepped through that door and told us what's going to happen.
Yeah. Also noticed that the place that they wanted to take Molly to, the 18-year-old Molly, was to a place called Davos Prime in Switzerland. Well, Davos being Switzerland, but they called it Davos Prime. And I thought that was another interesting little.
Interesting. I think it was
Dalvos,
Dalvos, but Davos.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think so.
I thought it was Davos.
But Davos, what is it? So everybody in the live chat, let us know, what is Davos? Davos is something else. There's somebody's name who is Davos. Oh, that's what it is. Now I remember. No, it's Game of Thrones. It's Sir Davos. Now I remember. Never mind. That's Game of Thrones. Sir Davos, one of my favorite characters. Everybody loves him. the Onion Knight, if I remember correctly. So we'll talk more about this on the other side on the free-for-all. We're about to flip over there, but before we do that, let's give a very special thanks to our friends, Homer Frizzell, who lives in an apartment building that Walter Koenig, aka Chekhov, used to live in New York.
Right.
Dr. Marie Segal, Eve England out in Wales, Yvette Blackmon-Tom, Carmen, aka Skillet, Grandpa
Skillet.
One, aka Tim Baum, TJ, Jackson-Bey out in Missouri, Bill, Victor Arucan, Titus Mohler, Darlena Marie, John Mann, Dr. Mohamed Noor, Anna Post, Rex A. Wood, Anil O. Polat, Tierney C. Dieckmann, Dr. Frank Soboczenski, Patrick David Lindsley, Joe, you got it, Joe Balsarati, and of course, Dr. Susan B. Gruner. Everybody stick around for the free-for-all. It's coming right now. We'll be right back on The Seventh Rule. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to a very special edition of The Seventh Rule with Cirroc Lofton.
Hello.
We also have Malissa Longo over here, of course, with the coolest background ever.
Hi.
And Dr. Susan B. Gruner out in space somewhere. That's all. And we have Anna Post and Tierney C. Dieckmann calling in from, Chicago. No big deal. Having some fun and, spreading the joy. We are talking about Time's Orphan, everybody. So let's get back into that, starting with Malissa Longo and why you chose that background.
Because it's so cute. I wonder if Hannah actually drew it or somebody else.
No
drew
way.
It.
We talked to her about that. Yeah, right, Cirroc. They just have like the art department do the drawing, and that's it, right?
Those circles are too perfect.
For an 8-year-old?
I don't know. It depends on the 8-year-olds because there's some pretty talented 8-year-olds out there.
That's true.
I don't know. I would buy it.
Oh.
It kind of looks like those, there was like a wireless commercial that had these fluffy, circular, remember that?
Like an orange one.
Down.
Orange.
It's not cricket, is it? No, it is cricket.
Was it cricket?
It is cricket.
They're little fuzzy things. There's like a whole family of them now. They're gonna they'll get a spin-off show.
Oh no.
Yeah, that was
They already have.
original concept art for the cricket wireless guys.
I'm pretty sure they're the things that started the bye thing that now everyone says, and it's awful, but it's somehow weirdly catchy.
I think so, yeah. I think Ryan's looking at it right now. He's trying to
I'm trying to find it, but I can't.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's cricket, unless they got bought out by somebody and it's a different name now. But yeah, they still exist, like in normal, at least they do where I am in Virginia. I don't know if they're everywhere.
Oh yeah, here they are. Oh, so he's not orange, he's like yellow, it looks like. Wait a minute, are we giving free advertising right now?
Yeah, there it is.
I have never seen that.
Consider yourself fortunate. So Malissa, what do you think about this episode besides that awesome drawing?
Can I be real?
Please.
Nope. Dr. Susan B. Gruner.
Go ahead. No,
go
ahead,
please.
Sue.
No,
you want me to start? Really?
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Malissa. Be real.
Be real.
I had difficulty connecting with this episode. Except for Worf's challenge to take care of Yoshi was amazing. I love that. And he's like, I won the heart of the magnificent Jadzia Dax, and I faced Dominion soldiers in battle. And when he started saying that, it kind of reminded me of Blade Runner, the last moment when the Rutger Hauer character was about to die. And he was like, I've seen things you people wouldn't believe. So that's kind of what that felt like. But he's like, I am determined to win this child over, which was really cute. And when Hoshi hurt himself and Worf was so sad that Hoshi got hurt under his watch, he's like, he doesn't want to see me anymore. I love the B story in this.
How'd you feel about the A story?
The A story.
Or you could talk more about the B story.
I will say that Rosalind Chow did an amazing job. There's some moments where she got me choked up when she's talking about her baby not being, Molly being off. But I have some questions about the believability of the whole thing. Just, I don't, and I did read up where they consulted psychologists and social worker experts and what have you, and saying, well, yeah, if she was by herself from 8 to 18, she would have, her vocabulary would have de-evolved. But I still question that it would devolve that much. If she's able to say Rumpelstiltskin at the age of 4, she would be able to remember, mommy and daddy and home. Maybe. Like simple words. But and I only question it because human beings are need companionship and are social creatures by nature. And if you've been around children at all, you know that talking doesn't come from just talking to people. They talk to themselves. They talk to inanimate
Who
objects.
Doesn't?
Exactly. But I don't think that she would just stop talking because there was no one around to talk to her. To continue that conversation, she would find rocks to talk to and find, trees to talk to. I don't know. I talk to Mochi all the time, and it's
because she understands.
Oh, sure. but it got me thinking, didn't she learn any songs when she was growing up? So if anything, you would resort to singing to yourselves, like something that would bring you comfort and that would maintain the vocabulary. Maybe it would have regressed, but I don't think so much so that she wouldn't recognize words anymore, if that makes sense. But maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong.
I think Sue has a bone to pick with that. I think she disagrees with you. That's my personal guess. But before we get into that, we totally forgot Jake Sisko guesses the IMDb score. He goes, oof.
This was I'm going to go with a solid 7-1.
7-1. I think that's Shaq, right? 7-1. Anybody have a guess? Or JaVale McGee might have been too. Anybody have any guesses that don't know what the score is?
8. I don't know why.
A what?
6-8. I don't know why. I'm just guessing.
Anybody else? It's lower than I would have expected. A 6.2. Which is low for Deep Space Nine. I didn't expect that. I didn't think it was that bad. Anyway, so Sue, your thoughts? Boy, you didn't fully agree with what Malissa was saying there, methinks.
You can disagree. It's okay. I'm good with it.
Besides the fact that I wonder how an 8-year-old could survive on her own.
Well, that
wearing
was
the
my
same
first
clothes,
thing.
not knowing how to cook or find food, and have her polished nails when she came out and her bangs perfectly trimmed. Besides that, I had absolutely no problem with this.
Oh, cool.
There are good and bad parts of it. I read the reviews, and the people that reviewed it hated it, said it was like the second worst from the last one, the Ferengi one. And I don't agree with that. I enjoy every episode, no matter how bad it is.
Have they seen
And
Melora?
I think there are some good things in this episode. Look, again, it's science fiction. And I'm not going to question, all of that stuff. I didn't think about it. But one thing that I can't get over is that they would be willing to let their kid go back to a place where there's no other people.
Yeah.
And they didn't know what's going to happen to her. I just find that hard to believe. And in good science fiction, you'll believe just about anything, like we all do. But I couldn't believe. I've never had children myself, but I just cannot imagine a parent saying, yeah, I'm going to let this person go back into the time where there is literally nobody else on the planet or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I gave it a 7. I gave it a 7.
Wow. Sue gave it a 7. Well, Tierney C. Dieckmann.
Except for the pajamas. I'm going to point out those pajamas. Have to give them a 10.
Oh, DePaul's old up.
That's all right.
Bugs.
That's awesome.
Tierney's here. She's got a cool hat on, everybody. Those of you listening in, you're missing out. Sorry. What do you think about this episode? Had you seen it recently?
I've not seen it recently. This is the first episode from any that we've done that I have not seen recently. For good reason. It's been a busy weekend.
Do you remember it at all well? Do you remember liking it or not liking it?
Not as well as I would have liked, just because typically I skip this one on watch through. I would call this a non-episode. Something that Anna had mentioned. I'm sorry if I take this away from your talking points when we were talking about it earlier. It is one that sort of just resolves itself or negates itself. And it also has no purpose to begin with. It's not a message episode. All the O'Briens must suffer, because why? And this time we have to bring Molly into it too, because why? I agree very much with Malissa that, which I don't think she devolved that quite that much, partially because I think she'd be dead from sepsis at that point from an infection. She's going to cut herself all the damn time. You don't see antibiotics there. I don't even see her making it that long without any other beings around. If she does, okay, but she's going to be in rough shape. She's not going to be good. She's going to be stark naked or wrapped in something really primitive. It's not going to be good. She's going to be damaged as hell. I don't like this episode. I really don't. And it's not I hate it or anything like that. I don't have anything necessarily heavily against it. I just don't see the point of why it needed to be in DS9. I don't know, with Prophet and Lace is something Tim had mentioned. If this was an earlier season episode where they're still trying to get their feet under them, test the waters, okay, it would make a little more sense, but it doesn't fit in the season. It doesn't fit in the narrative of what's happening. Keiko's not on station very often. Do we have to keep making everything worse for them? It's always terrible. And I love Keiko. I really do. She is my Star Trek girl crush. She's great. She's fun. I named my dog after her. I love Keiko. She's feisty.
What a compliment.
Hot. She's awesome. I mean that as a compliment. I love my Keiko. But she just, they just get shot on all the time. And it's just not fair to anybody. They don't learn anything from this episode. And yes, as Sue said, they just send her back. I mean, with therapy, with time, those skills would come back. What's one of those things you go back? I'm staying in my childhood home right now here in Illinois, and I'm going through old things to find old Star Trek stuff. And I'm bringing some goodies back, but I'm finding my old toys, things that I thought I made up in my head, from when I was really, really little, and all those memories start coming back, including things like songs and things I did as a child. And it doesn't take much. Those pathways are still there. You just need to open floodgates. They could do this with therapy. Send her back. It's just a reason to resolve the episode and bring back little Molly. Why have this episode? And why does Keiko want to kill Chester? Chester's adorable. He's beautiful. He's this beautiful kid.
She's mean to Chester. She's
mean to Chester.
And I
was very sad about that.
Man says a botanist, but come on, he's a kitty. I don't get it. But anyway, so yeah, it's a non-episode to me. It is. So
it is a bottle episode, and it's episode 24 out of 26 in this season. So it's definitely one of those episodes where they're maybe they're running low on ideas, or they're revisiting old ideas. They're like, we're almost there. We just got to get a couple more, and then we got summer break.
And they're setting us up too. They set us up in this episode.
Yes, they do set us up with the B story. Yeah.
Ooh, more there. On a post, do you hate this episode as well, or do you love it like Cirroc did?
I don't hate it as much as others. It confuses me a little. It's not there are other episodes and it's probably better than the first season of TNG. It's not
high praise.
Just varying levels of whatever. I think we got so used to DS9 being an arc and constantly pushing forward the overall storyline and the story arc and things tying into things that it feels very jarring to have an episodic episode, especially one where in the end it's like nothing ever happened. I mean, I get the fact of not wanting to have you put a child through a super traumatic experience, and I understand wanting to resolve that. So at the end, the only person who is not affected and not remembering that trauma is the child itself, which is a weird thought to have, where everyone else, as far as we know, lives with this trauma and this knowledge that this thing did happen, even though the child will never remember and it will never affect the child itself. They will always have that.
I think an 8-year-old's going to remember, right?
But she goes back and she'll only remember being missing for a little bit.
Right.
She's not going to remember missing 10 years.
Never happened.
I mean, for her, it's lost in the grocery store, right? I don't know if anyone else has been lost in the grocery store.
Yeah.
Like you've lost your parents for that. It's that thing that you'll always remember, and it's always traumatic, but it's never going to be as traumatic. I mean, for her as it is for them realizing they had lost their child for 10 years and possibly forever type thing. And it was only like this one fluke where this gate reset itself. And I also wondered if the gate it reminded me of
the Guardian Doors,
the Guardian of Forever.
Okay.
But only like with Bejor, where it cycles through time, and they thought they had set it to this certain time, and she comes back, but it was 10 years. She's already aged 10 years because the gate's gone through 10 years, but kind of like the Guardian of Forever cycles through the time periods, it reset. So when she came back, it was the same time that she left type thing. And then it sort of harkened to me back to that Guardian of Forever gate, especially with things that happen later on in Discovery, how you find gates that are still jumping and things. So I actually wonder if that was kind of a callback reference, not only to TOS, but to this, as it was by Bajor.
Cirroc made a connection that it was similar to The Visitor, where there's a parent seeing their child disappear to them and then come back years later, much older.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Not to mention, they also have to live with the knowledge that Molly that they knew as older Molly has now sacrificed herself. She's gone. Yeah.
The older Molly's not nearly as fun as the original Molly.
I do also love, though, in the B story, the fact that that the rest of the DS9 family was so supportive and was willing to take on anything that they needed to take on to make sure that the O'Briens could take care of themselves and Molly in the way that they needed to. And there was no struggle that we all have to face with taking family leave and seeing if you have enough time and rearranging all this stuff. They were all just like, we have got this. Yeah. You go. Yoshi will be fine. We will be fine. We do not need you. Do what you need to do. We will arrange anything to make sure that you can do what you need to do.
How cute was it?
Even Odo was like, you can get out of here.
Yeah, Odo. Yeah. How cute was it though when Dax told Worf that the baby was saying gung gung gung? He's like, you said that?
Oh, I love that.
He's not messing with me, right? Did you really say that? It is between me and the baby. Right? It's too cute.
So great.
Yeah, I don't think we covered this, but grown-up Molly bit Quark's ear.
Yeah.
And he screamed.
Yeah, that would that's a big deal, right?
That's a little payback in the episode before, maybe.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That makes this episode a rated R episode. No.
And she stabbed the Tarkalian too, by the way.
She stabbed the Tarkalian, and I was thinking, well, they need to just send her to fight the Dominion because this girl's kicking ass. She's going to clone her. But no, I had some of the same issues expressed. Yeah, I had some of the same issues that. Where am I?
Alpha Quadrant.
Where am I? No,
wormhole aliens.
And that was that was because I, as a parent, there's things that I just didn't find believable as a parent. Number one, I talked about. If you see your kid falling into a pool of whatever, you're going to jump after. You're not going to just like, oh well, I don't know what that substance is, but maybe they're safe on the other side of it, or I don't know.
We got another one.
Yeah.
We had another one.
Unless you know for a fact that's like boiling hot lava or something, you're jumping in there. I don't care. Any parent is not going to just say, well, I don't know where they are down there. I can't see them, so I guess they're not here.
Like jumping into water after
you're
fall in. Yeah.
You're jumping. A parent is jumping. That's it. And if it means I'm going to die, so be it. And
well, maybe
I'm going to take them.
Maybe they didn't like Molly that much. Maybe that's the secret. Maybe that's why Willie O'Brien is sending them out to
bring
Bajor.
The cat. Throw the cat in here too.
Molly, you guys go on Bajor. It's for your own protection, not because I'll hang out with the kitty. You don't like the cat. You hang out with the kids. I don't like the kids. Maybe that's what it was.
You might have a thing there, considering that he did manifest Rumpelstiltskin, who steals children. Might not like Molly that much on an unconscious level.
But everybody loves Hannah Hate, and she did some. I think a lot of you guys are just jealous because of her cartwheel skills.
Oh yes, it made me want to go and do cartwheels. Actually, it's been so long since I've done cartwheels.
The adult Molly had some pretty good cartwheel skills too. Actually, we didn't even talk about her. That actress I thought was really good. I didn't remember her being that good, but she had to do so much with hardly any lines. She had to just grunt all the time. But mostly you're just reading her reactions in her face. And I thought she did a really good job in a role that is difficult to not be self-conscious. You're like, okay, so I got to run
Right.
around and act a fool. And
Yeah.
are you sure this doesn't look weird? They're like, no, this is good. Do this. Okay. And I'm going to, okay. But I thought she did great.
I thought the acting
Yeah.
was really good, actually.
Yeah, her acting was good.
There's like I said, there's moments when Keiko was breaking down, and I'm just like, Keiko, and I had tears coming, you know. But it's just the whole. I don't know if it was the execution or whatnot, because I'm thinking, you know, even back in the day, we were drawing on walls of the caves and stuff, and so. She likes to draw, so why wouldn't she express herself with nobody else around to, you know? And but then it made me question, well, how would she know what's safe to eat and what isn't safe to eat, as far as like fruit,
or water,
and
drinking
veggies,
water, all
and
that stuff.
all of
Yeah.
that. And
It's not realistic, that part. It's definitely not realistic to send her back with a, you know, like a
fanny pack.
Bowie knife. Here's a book of matches and a Bowie knife and
Blanket.
and a
There you
blanket.
go,
and
MacGyver.
Yeah.
Tic Tac.
Make a hang
And,
glider out of this.
If you need anything else, just look up at the stars. Like,
The Bowie stars.
yeah, I was like, no, I didn't believe it either way. So that was the problem.
Yeah.
Because as a parent, you're literally just, you're not going to give up on your kid. That's it. You're not going to give up on them to watch them just disappear into some kind of abyss that you don't know about. And you're not going to give up on them that once you do recover them, I don't care how many missing people have been, you know, there are parents that are waiting just for the remains of their bodies, of their
Right.
loved ones, waiting just to get confirmation that they can put to rest and they can bury some
Closure.
some
Right.
closure. So, and they sit there and they hold on to that hope for years, just for that.
Right.
And you think that somebody's going to walk away after missing their kid and say, oh, well, just go back to that planet over there by yourself. You know, no parent is going to do that. Parents are waiting, waiting by the phone to
For
out if they're
decades.
for decades,
Decades.
if their runaway kid or their missing teen
Yeah.
or their kid will ever surf. They scour the internet looking for people. They go through these. I mean, there's all types of, you know, there's so much that a parent will go through to find their child. And it's just, there's nothing that equates to that as far as love of a person. And I just don't think that was accurately, it was too flippant in this episode. It wasn't,
Mhm.
it wasn't enough for me to emphasize that kind of a love that a parent has for their child.
Mhm. Now, before we go, Cirroc, I'm so glad you mentioned the abyss, because here at the Seventh Rule, the only abyss we like is AbyssinianKiosk.com, Cirroc's sister's website. And we have it on good authority that our good friend Mike Gu was wearing a shirt from
Mhm.
Abyssinian Kiosk at the Mission Chicago Star Trek convention. Everybody at home, you're thinking, boy, I wish I could get a cool shirt like that. You can. Abyssinian Kiosk. Check it out in the description box below. You're going to love those shirts. You're going to love the way you look.
I love Malissa.
Guarantee it.
I wanted to say, Malissa, that shirt you've got on is pretty cool.
Yeah.
What is that?
Thanks. It's brand new.
Cool.
I did some painting
Oh, wow. That's beautiful.
over the
I'm not. I
That
think
is
I'm
cute.
wearing Ryan. Is this Ryan or? I think it is.
Oh,
it
yeah.
looks like Ryan.
Well, it's not Cirroc. Yeah, and if you'd like to wear my face on your chest, everybody, that is on our Teespring store. That's our online store. Go ahead and find that in the description box below. You can also get a Cirroc. You can get a Ferengi. We have also a Seventh Rule poster, all kinds of fun stuff. That is a great blue on you, by the way, Sue.
And don't forget about Walking Art by Melissa.
I think we need a
Thanks,
new
Cirroc.
T-shirt though, because it
We
looks
do.
That's awesome.
Cirroc. It looks like the
Yeah.
Pixar lamp is going to take a bite out of you. That could be like a
This is the microphone.
Pixar lamp. Everybody at home, that is walkingartmadebymelissa.com. You can see all kinds of cool shirts and stuff that she makes there as well. You got all your shopping ahead of you now, everybody. So enjoy that. I think we got to run. So everybody, thanks for joining us. Also, Malissa, thank you. Sue, Anna, and Tierney, thanks so much for joining us. Everybody at home, we'll see you next time. And, whatever. Enjoy Star Trek.
Yeah, enjoy the convention in Chicago, guys. You guys are
Yeah.
having fun.
Enjoy the rest of your
Anna
time.
and Tierney.
And always remember the seventh rule.